Like a million people for your next speaker, Miss Sweet Gwendolyn.
Sweet Gwendolyn.
Sweet Gwendolyn!
Okay. Thank you. Hey. All right. So, I have shared many very personal things on this stage, but prior to tonight, I have never before shared something that has really made me vulnerable. What is personal about this is not the fact that someone I first met 15 years ago died on Sunday, but it's the fact that he was famous. I learned the lesson very painfully many years ago that it generally does not pay to acknowledge knowing famous people due to this sort of strange built-in strong reaction to celebrity that we have in our culture. I found that any mention of knowing or interacting with people that other people had heard of, instead of being received as an interesting or cool story, was instead more likely to be received as boastfulness or name-dropping, and could also potentially be seen as justifiable cause to take me down a peg. As a result, what I'm about to share with you here is something that, until I posted about it on Monday, I've almost completely kept to myself over the last 15 years, painting a limited picture even amongst close friends. What makes this moment a moment of vulnerability for me now is that if anyone were to comment that this piece is meant as some sort of bragging rights, as opposed to the honest expression of the truly surreal experience of privately mourning someone so public, I don't think I could handle that right now. So that said, I have a lot of trust in the Queer Mountain as an audience, so I'm going to take that leap of faith and proceed in talking about this otherwise unshared part of my life, my happy memories of it, and how the last time I saw him was the absolute best possible way that you could ever hope to see someone for the last time, which has proven to be an unexpected source of comfort for me. And if it has not clicked with you what celebrity death was in the headlines on Monday, I am talking about Dave Brockie, aka Odorous Urungus, lead singer of the rock group Gwar. And if you are not familiar with Gwar, with their mock egotistical bragging and scathing satire, they were basically to rock what Stephen Colbert is to punditry, and their live show were basically live action, like a live action version of an Itchy and Scratchy cartoon. That said, they'd be a little sore at the comparison if I did not point out that they were doing it first years before Itchy and Scratchy ever aired. I first met Dave and the rest of Gwar in 1999 when they walked into the head shop I was working at, which was next door to the only mid-sized music venue in Birmingham, Alabama. And as you can imagine, I met a lot of very interesting people there, because if you're a national act playing a B-market town, odds are you do not know anyone there at all. So what else are you going to do between sound check and showtime? Go to the head shop piercing parlor and chat up the locals. So after striking it off that night, I have been guest listed with VIP +1 access to every Gwar show that they have ever played in my area since then, which I estimate to be 15, give or take. I have hung out with them after every show, and in most cases I was taken out to dinner on their per diem. I was also put up for the night and given a private tour of the Slave Pit, which is the warehouse where Gwar built their stage props, shot their DIY films, and rehearsed in when I passed through Richmond, Virginia on my way to New York years ago. And that's a picture of me at the Slave Pit. If you're familiar with Gwar, they had a character named Grambo, who was a morality crusader who wanted to kill everyone she didn't approve of, and that was her homestead. The main person that I was friends with in that band was Scott, who my heart truly aches for the worst right now, as he and Dave had been best friends since they were roommates in college and hatched the plan to form Gwar more than 30 years ago. I introduced myself to Scott that first show in 1999 because, why else? He was the only guy there wearing a dress. And due to his deep friendship with Dave, I wound up hanging out with just the two of them on a number of occasions before and after the shows. So that's Scott and me also at the Slave Pit. And go ahead and do the next one. That's Scott, also in the Slave Pit, with a number of Gwar props. If you're a fan of the band, you might recognize some of them. And let's see. I am, in all honesty, deeply relieved right now that Dave and I were not close. But that said, we did absolutely know each other and were on friendly terms across 15 years. I can't begin to say how many times I marveled at the unique relationship I had with the two of them, where we saw each other's lives play out in snapshots across the years as we'd briefly update each other on what was going on in our lives since the last time we'd seen each other, once or sometimes twice a year, almost every year across that period of time. There are also many funny stories that run through my head thinking back, and I'm sure at least one. And I remember 4 to 5 years back, we were discussing clever band names, and I mentioned a local band called Baby Got Bacteria, which... Oh yeah. Is that secure? Okay. Alright, they're gonna hold it for me. So yeah, Baby Got Bacteria, and that cracked them up to no end. 2 days later, after I spoke to them on the phone, and they wanted me to know that that had become their rallying cry for cleaning out the bus and all of their blood and gut stage gear. They were cracking up telling me how the costumes got bacteria, the bus's kitchen nooks got bacteria, etc. became their battle cries. They scrubbed the bus and all of their goo-encrusted stage props. The last time I saw Dave was the absolute best way I could ever have seen him for the last time. I was always a little conscious that they were giving me such awesome treatment, and while there was zero expectation of being repaid, I didn't like that it was such a one-way street. Then, at some point, it clicked with me that it was just so obvious that the Alamo Drafthouse should screen their brilliant early 90s DIY movies, It's Sleazy, Skullhead Face, and the Grammy-nominated Phallus in Wonderland, and have them host. That show, I had actually set up a meeting where a guy from the Draft House came and talked to them and offered them a great deal with nice perks to come host the films. He made them feel like the DIY film royalty that they truly are. For all of their fame as a band, being recognized as filmmakers was actually really meaningful and deeply flattering for them. I only had 3 requests if it ever came to fruition. 1, that I get in free. 2, that Scott be on the discussion panel because I felt that he was frequently overlooked next to Dave. And 3, that they just know that it was my idea that I was donating to them as a gift to thank them from the bottom of my heart for everything that they had ever done for me over the years, and that I hoped that they made a lot of money and had a really great time doing it. When you get that famous, everyone always wants a piece of you. Even when people are nominally giving you something, it tends to go along the lines of, here are some free drugs, just remember when you're doing them, it was me who got you high. Which is not only not necessarily in your best interest, but it's still being done for selfish reasons. I think that this just stood out as a rare moment where someone not only had the ability to do something that really meant something to them, but also did it totally selflessly and givingly. Dave was very excited, tickled, and touched. He really lit up over the whole discussion and appeared to be really looking forward to it. And then we said goodbye, and that was the last time I ever saw him. It means more to me than I can say that last time was so positive, and that in our last interaction I finally got to do something nice for them back. I'm actually deeply relieved that I was finally too sick with my health problems to see them the last 2 times that they played Austin, because I know that, for as affected as I have been, I'd be far more deeply stricken by the loss if I had seen him more recently, and then also that last time wouldn't have been the perfect last time I ever got to see him. So I have some pictures of, actually there's one more of Scott and me, but after that, also the very last time I went to Guar, I brought a digital camera, which they, just so you know, they hose you down with like fake blood and fake vomit and fake pee and fake jizz and milk, any sort of body fluid you can think of. So I had actually just gotten a new digital camera, so I felt very cavalier about taking my old digital camera to record the experience. So there's a bunch of pictures, but I just want to fly through them, and just to give you the experience of what it's like to go to a Guar show. That's a picture of my friend and I in the bathroom before the show started. That's us at the merch stand. That's my friend Jamie in front of a Guar show in progress. That's me in front of Guar, but you can't really see him. Go ahead. that's what I wanted to capture, though. This is what it's like to be in the audience at a GWAR show. And just so you know, we're really far back. I mean, they have it hooked up with the pressure hoses. So, I mean, 40 feet out in the audience, you're still getting soaked. Go ahead. There's just a few more of just audience shots like that. And go ahead. And that's GWAR on the stage. That's Dave as Odorous Urungus. And that's Balzac, Jaws of Death, Beefcake the Mighty, Flatus Maximus. I forget the drummer's name. Go ahead. This is immediately after the GWAR show, and everyone's just, that was an especially phenomenal crowd. Like, it was so happy. It was unusually happy for a GWAR show. Go ahead. I love that. I thought they captured the spirit of the audience so much, and especially the next picture too. These guys were the cutest cutie pies. They were high school students, and it was their first rock concert ever. And they were so excited. And they will have that story to tell for the rest of their lives. Go ahead. She wore a white prom dress just to get the very Carrie effect of getting blood soaked. And go ahead. This is my friend Scott showing the tattoo he got of the Chaos Cross on his bald spot. And then this last picture, right, so the thing about Dave is I never treat the people I know who are well known like celebrities, and I never felt comfortable like asking famous people for a photo with them, kind of treating them like they're the Grand Canyon and I'm getting my picture taken in front of them. The first picture you saw with me with Odorous, I actually had known him for 10 years at that point and had never had my picture taken with him. And then there was actually a local contest for a meet and greet, and I entered it and I won it fair and square, and that's how I got my picture taken with him in costume. And then this picture right here is actually taken by Dave Brockie on the tour bus. That's the two of us on the tour bus, all blood-soaked and everything. And I would never have been so invasive as to, you know, I want to get my picture taken with you. So instead I handed him the camera and asked him to take a picture of us, which he understood what I was doing and thought it was hilarious. He took the picture, he was completely charmed, and then we left, and that was the last time I ever saw him. That's it.